Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be getting ready and I am going to be using almost all MAC cosmetics. I'm also going to tell you just some fun facts along the way about MAC. If you're new here, special welcome to you. I hope you'll hit that subscribe button. And now let's get started with a few fun facts. So first of all, did you know MAC Cosmetics was started in Toronto, Canada by two guys who actually started making makeup in their kitchen? Talk about the greatest success DIY story ever, right? So basically, as the story goes, Frank Toscan, who was a photographer and makeup artist, and Frank Angelo, who owned a salon, they were frustrated with the fact that makeup did not photograph well. So they started making their own, started selling it in the salon. Lots of makeup artists loved it and magazine credits started rolling in, and they launched MAC Cosmetics in 1984. 10 years later, they became a part of Estee Lauder companies, and they've continued to be one of the leaders in industry as far as color artistry, and that was their main goal. They didn't want to focus on skincare. They were more focused on the art of color in makeup, and I think that's one of the reasons why I just love MAC so much. Now, you may know MAC Cosmetics is not technically cruelty-free. I say technically because MAC Cosmetics as a company, they do not test on animals. They do not have any animal testing facilities. However, they sell to countries whose governments test on animals. Now, MAC has become a part of an organization that is trying globally to reach out to these countries and show them there are other ways to test makeup and not test on animals. But until then, MAC itself does not test on animals, but that is why they don't have the cruelty-free label. So let's go ahead and get started adding some makeup, and then I'll talk a little bit more about packaging and different formulations, all that good stuff. Starting off with eyeshadow primer. So I'm going to start off first with a non-MAC product. This is the Milani eyeshadow primer, and I am doing this because the MAC lid primer is one of their paint pots, which you have seen me use many times around the edge of my lips. Paint pots are actually meant for use on the eyes. This is soft ochre, and so this alone isn't enough to keep my shadows from creasing, but adding just a little bit of it over a regular eyeshadow primer, it does help disguise the veins on my lid and provide just a little more pop to the eyeshadows that I'm going to put over the top. Now, the key is if you're layering this over an eyeshadow primer, you have to do it before the eyeshadow primer sets. Otherwise, it'll start getting kind of cakey and dry looking. Now, this is soft ochre. If you have yellow undertones to your skin, this will be perfect for you. If you are more fair pink undertones, you're gonna want Painterly. If you have deeper skin tone, they have Groundwork. And all of these can also be used as cream shadows, so you don't have to use them just as bases. They do still have a couple, like Bare Study, that has like a gold pearl finish. All right, now while that sets on the lids, I'm gonna add a little bit of moisture to the lips. I'm gonna use one of their lip glosses. I have several of these. My all-time favorite shade is Oyster Girl. I have repurchased this in the large size. This is one of their minis. Here's their large size. Once I finish this, I do plan to purchase the full size again, but I'm just gonna put on, this is Iced Dream. And they are a little bit more of a sticky formula, but for me, I like that because it means it's going to stick around a little longer. They are really nice and shiny, a little added hydration, so there we go. Now my lips are feeling better. All right, now moving back to our eyes, we're gonna go into eyeshadow. So since they are a makeup artist focused brand, their main line comes in very just kind of black packaging, or they sell things in individual pans. So, and they're called Pro Refill pans. So when it comes to eyeshadow, you can either buy it in its own little pot like this. It's very nice packaging, great to travel with, but it is more than double the price if you are to just buy the individual pan and put it in a magnetized palette. So almost all of these, except for this one and a couple here, are all MAC shadows. You can buy the individual pans. These are now $8 to $9 depending on the finish. but it allows you to just buy the shades that you want to use. This was actually a pre-curated eyeshadow palette that they put together, but you can actually remove these pans. It's just a little harder because you have to have a real strong magnet from the front to pull them out. But this was the warm neutrals. I don't know if they sell this one anymore, but they do offer a few eyeshadow palettes here and there. Now I'm going to start off with a couple of the iconic shades of MAC. I'm going to go in first with this matte cream shade. It's called Brulee, and I'm using a Sigma E50. And when I first started watching YouTube, MAC eyeshadows were kind of the main thing that I saw. Candy Johnson or the early days of Jaclyn Hill. So I was super excited when I first was able to start buying a few MAC products here and there. And then when they made these refill pans available to people like me who are not even makeup artists, I was extra happy. So I'm going to go in now with this shade right here, which is Soft Brown. So the formula of MAC shadows is quite different than your average. You'll see I don't have any kick up in the pan, and yet I have a decent amount on my brush. MAC shadows, to me, I feel like they are pigmented, but they are pressed, I think, so much harder in the pan. This is just, you know, a person who has no idea about the technical terms of how this is done, but I feel like they are pressed in the pan so much more so that you're not going to be getting tons of fallout. Now, you still will need to tap off your brush. I get lazy and don't always do that, but it allows you to kind of slowly build the color. They are silky smooth. They've got shimmers, pearl finishes. They have duochrome shadows. They've got dazzle shadows. They're ones that are dazzle with some of the glitter. Those do have a little more fallout, but for the most part, I feel like the MAC shadows are really good and perform very well. They stay well. Okay, now I have 3 MAC brushes. That's all I own. This is the MAC 217, and back in the day, early years of YouTube, there weren't any brushes like this, and so this was a very highly sought after brush. Now you've got the Sigma E25, which is very similar. You've got the Morphe M433, so there are now a lot of good brushes, but back in the day, MAC was kind of the high standard to, you know, all these other brands were trying to achieve. I think I'm now going to go in with Swiss Chocolate, and this is a beautiful neutral brown. I look at it and I see just a hint of maybe some rosiness. I don't know. I just love this color. And I'm going to put this in the outer corner and brought through about halfway in the crease. Now I'm going to go in with this smaller, slightly fluffy brush. This is the E27 from Sigma. And I'm going to go in with Deep Damson. This is a beautiful kind of red plum brown shade. It's super silky smooth. I love this. I am going to tap off my brush, but you can just love it mixed with that Swiss Chocolate shade. Just gonna deepen this outer corner here, and I'll just, with the tip of that brush, this is why I like this brush, it's a little fluffy, so I can kind of gently blend the top edge a little bit. Just blending the edge here. There we go. Okay, we're gonna stop there for the moment, and we're gonna go in with our lid shade, and we are going to use my second favorite pigment of all time, and it is MAC Tan Pigment. If you saw my if I could only use one product, makeup product in each category video, you know that rose pigment from MAC is my favorite, but tan is my second. Okay, so this is the full size. This is $23 for 4.5 grams, but they now have these mini travel size ones that are 2.5 grams for $12. So trust me, you are never going to go through even all of one of these. It would take you a while. So the large ones come with a little stopper, so you just want to be careful. I'm just telling you now from experience. You want to remove the lid and set the pigment down So I put that little stopper in the lid, and I'm gonna use a MAC 239. This is the second MAC brush I have, and I really like this. It is natural hair, and it's flat, and it just picks up pigment amazingly and packs it in the bristles. So I'm gonna show you this pigment first dry. So you just smush it into the cap here and then tap off. Now MAC pigments do have binder ingredients, so it's different than a loose glitter because when you press it on your lid, it binds those shimmery, wonderful particles all together, and it helps it stay so it doesn't continue just flying off your eye. Now, MAC pigments can be used on your lips. You can also use them, mix them in with your nail polish, so there's multiple uses for them. Oh, they're so pretty. And so you can see even dry, it is quite metallic, but we're going to step it up. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little more on my brush, and I'm gonna use some MAC Fix Plus. This has vegetable glycerin and some other calming ingredients. This is great to spritz your face, but it's also great for eyeshadow. So we're going to wet our brush, and we are now going to make that pigment look like liquid metal. Oh, just love that. And this shade, I would say, is kind of a rose gold shade. It's just so pretty and such a great neutral. Now I can go back with my E27. I'm just going to feather kind of the edge of the crease there. All right, be sure you put the lid right back on. Don't keep doing anything with your makeup. Put that lid back on. All right, so now I'm going to add one final shade to the upper lid, and that is another one of my favorites. It's this one right here. It's called Star Violet, and this is just beautiful, even all over the lid, but I'll just work it into my look here today to show you. So I'm gonna use this just right kind of where the shimmer stops and that outer corner matte brown, matte plum shade start. You can see it's real subtle, but just adds a little better kind of gradation of color there. Oh, love Star Violet. Now for liner, I don't have a MAC liner. Years ago, I used Fluid Line, which is their gel liner. It is a really good one. I just haven't repurchased it in a while. So I'm gonna do just a little trick here. I'm gonna go back to the soft ochre paint pot, use this tiny little accent brush from Real Techniques. I'm going to place a little bit of this along my lower lash line here and just kind of provide a little bit of something for my shadow to adhere to down here. Might as well just take that all the way across the lower lash line. And then for liner, I'm gonna go back to that Deep Damson shade right here. And I'm gonna use a Morphe M165 and just press this first into the upper lash line. And I'm gonna try to go maybe about 3/4 of the way across. And then as I go here to the outer corner, I am going to kind of pull my brush out a little bit to thicken that line. And then I'm also going to run a little bit of this on the lower lash line, right over where we did that paint pot. And then the rest of the way in, I think I'm gonna go in with Swiss chocolate. Wow, that was hard to say today. All right, I'm gonna just smudge that here so we have kind of a gradation of color as well. And then let's add just a little bit of soft brown as we go towards the inner corner. And then I'm gonna go back with the E27 and a little more Deep Damson and just kind of freshen up that outer corner, make sure it is nice and deep, kind of also blend the edge of that liner. All right, we're gonna leave the eyes there for the moment. And of course, everything I'm using right now, the colors, everything I'll leave in the description box below. So I'm going to now just take some almond oil on a Q-tip and clean up under the eyes. I do have some fallout, not any glitter fallout, just a little bit of some fallout from those darker shades. So let's get that cleaned up here. All right, time for some foundation. Now, the foundation I used to use and love from MAC was the Pro Longwear foundation. They don't make it anymore. Right now, the only two foundations I have from MAC, I don't have a lot of experience with. I bought them near the end of winter last year, and they're in my winter skin color. So this is the Studio Fix Stick Foundation, and this is a soft matte. I do recall it being decent coverage. I just can't remember how long wearing it was. I have NC13, and it's a little hard to see right there, but it is pretty light. The other one that I have is MAC Face and Body, and I'm gonna use this today because I think this is one of the most interesting foundations and definitely takes into mind the makeup artist, because this can be used on your face and your body. It is waterproof, but it is a kind of sheer buildable coverage. You're not gonna get tons of coverage, but I'm gonna help that out a little bit because this also is a super pale shade. This is C1. So I'm gonna help out the coverage and the color by adding in a drop or two of the Cover FX. These are the custom cover drops. These are great, by the way, to have on hand. These add just liquid pigment to any foundation. All right, I think this is going to work. We'll find out. Now, MAC Face and Body, the weird thing is, all right, if you can just see it going on my skin, you're gonna think, this is horrible. I mean, it looks like just water. It feels like water. It looks like it's not gonna do anything or soak in. Okay, but then as you rub it, the formula changes. It is the weirdest thing. And you just, I mean, look at it. It's almost like the pigment for the eyes. It's like it has binder ingredients or something that once you work it together and warm it up, it just, I mean, smooths out. And I mean, you can feel the texture change and see it. Isn't that crazy? Now, keep in mind, the custom cover drops did add a little coverage, but I only added 2 drops, and I had quite a lot of the face and body because I just wasn't sure how much I would need. So, but this formula is hydrating, and so I know Lori from Pride and Photos Beauty, she loves this foundation for mature skin. I'm 44, so you know, I'm in that mature skin category too. So I do think that it is a very lightweight foundation, and the goal of it is it's supposed to really look like skin. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for just a minute and address the under eyes because my under eyes are looking really dark now. I don't have the Pro Longwear concealer anymore. That is the one I used for years. And then I felt like it kind of got a little bit too drying under my eyes, but it does work wonders on spots on the face because it sets and stays in place. But I'm just gonna go in with a combination of 2.3W and 3.5W from the Beauty Blender what is this called? Beauty Blender Bounce Airbrush Liquid Whip Concealer. Is it any wonder why I can't remember that name? But real quick, as far as MAC foundation and concealer colors, they are, as you noticed, the colors I have a C in them. C is for those of us who have yellow undertones. It's the complete opposite of any other makeup company I know. Usually C means cool, meaning pink undertones, but not with MAC, so just keep that in mind. NW means those who have pink undertones or peachy undertones to their skin, so just be aware of that. And then I want to add just a little bit of extra coverage in a couple spots with the Bare Minerals Bare Pro concealers. I have Fairlight and Medium. We'll start with Fairlight. I think this will work. It might be a little light. Use this just kind of here in a couple spots, and then cover my dark spot. I'll use the Morphe E45, kind of blend that in. Okay, one more cream product before we set everything in place. So this is a relatively new product to MAC. These are called their Glow Play Blushes, I believe. Yes, Glow Play Blush. Whew. And this is the shade So Natural, and it is really pretty. I'm going to use the Luxe 522 tapered highlighter brush. Really nice and easy to apply, and they are very buildable. So at first I didn't think this color would show up on me, but it is very buildable. No shimmer. All right, I'm going to quickly set the under eye with the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. The two powders I have from MAC, I don't like under the eyes, so I'm just going to use the e.l.f. small tapered brush. Okay, now for face powder. I have two, but one has been discontinued. This is the Next to Nothing powder, and I actually really like this one. I'll show this one to you. I also have the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural, and this is Light Plus, and I do this packaging, I mean, it's nice and sleek, but there's no lip like to open it, so you really just have to like pull it apart. It's kind of awkward, but it does have a mirror now. It didn't used to come with that. These are a baked formula. They're very smoothing. They do provide a little extra coverage, but sometimes I feel like it gets a little cakey. I don't know. Let's try a little bit. We'll just put a little bit of it here on my chin. And I've noticed that people who have drier skin tend to like this better. And I think maybe that's one reason it's not a love for me, because I don't feel like it really keeps my makeup shine free through the day. Yeah, it's just not my favorite. So I'm going to switch over to the Next to Nothing, and this is, as the name implies, kind of next to nothing. It does not look like powder at all. Skin's looking a little better with the powder, but still, I just don't know that that foundation is for me. Okay, I said that I would talk a little bit about packaging, and MAC is notorious for having limited edition collections every year. They have multiples of these. This is one of my favorites. This is the Next to Nothing bronzer, which also is not available. This is the Aladdin collection. I had a few items from there. I mean, their detail in these special edition packages and everything, it's amazing. Now they also sell cheek products in the Pro refill pans as well. So not all of these are MAC, but this is the Sculpt shade. This is where I'm going to start with the F05. This is a great contour shade. They have multiple different colors, shades. So again, thinking about a makeup artist needs to be able to have foundations, bronzers, blushes, everything that works for every skin tone, and they definitely have that. And just like their powder or their eyeshadow formula, their cheek products also, they are just not powdery, which is pretty amazing. So you're not wasting product. It's not flying about as you're putting your brush in. A little nose contour here with that same shade. And then the shade right next to it is MAC Emphasize. And this is also, I think they call this a face shaping powder. So it doesn't have any sparkle. I'll just show you a little bit of this, but it definitely brings kind of highlighting to a certain area. So it brings light. So, and this is very pigmented. It totally works I just forget about this shade. All right, and then I think I will add just a little touch of blush just so I can show you. This is Melba, which is one of the iconic MAC shades, probably one of their best sellers. It's kind of a peachy pink shade, looks beautiful, I think, on just about everybody. And then I do have a couple of blushes in their compacts. So this is Peaches. This is another one of my favorites. Definitely more peach than pink. And then I have this one, which is limited edition, no longer available, but isn't this pretty? It's called Diva Don't Care. Actually, maybe I'll use this one. And then they have Mineralized Blushes, which means it has a little bit of shimmery kind of pearlescence. And this is their new packaging. Their blushes all come like this. I don't love this either. It does have a little lip on it, but I can never remember if the lip goes down or up. Anyway, this is Warm Soul. This is one of the iconic shades. It's pretty light, but it is buildable. It is a really pretty, it gives the cheeks just a really nice natural glow. But I think I want to use this today. I'm sorry, I know it's not available, but I'm going to use the E4 from Morphe, and I mean just the tiniest amount of that. So these are pigmented and just perform very well. And let's go into highlighter. All right, so iconic highlighter, MAC Soft and Gentle. This is actually called a mineralized skin finish, but it's not natural, just skin finish. And so therefore it has just, it is a baked formula. These last forever. It is a really nice, just soft glow. I'll probably use this today. It does though have this strange little bit of sparkle, so I do like to tap off my brush a little bit. But this is my all-time favorite packaging from MAC, and this is a shade of highlighter that's still available. This is Whisper of Guilt, but look at that, it's a snowflake. Me, the snow lover. Oh, it just spoke to me. But yes, this is Whisper of Guilt. This has a little more gold. So if you're super fair, this will probably show up as color on your skin, but I can get away with this lightly through the winter time. So, but today I'll show you Soft and Gentle, just the classic, and I'm going to use my third MAC brush. This is the 140 fan brush. I have the travel handle one, came in a kit, but they sell it with a full-size handle. And so I'm just going to work this into the skin. This is a real pretty Soft and Gentle highlighter, but it can be built up. All right, let's finish off the eyes with mascara and inner corner highlight. So this is going to be another iconic shade. This is called Nylon, and this is a really pretty, it's pretty strong, but it's not really a shimmer. It is a strong pearl finish, I think. And so I'm going to use the Sigma E30 and apply this in the inner corner. It is really brightening. It's a beautiful, beautiful inner corner highlight shade. All right, now before we can add mascara, we've got to do our brows. And I do actually have a favorite product from MAC for brows. This is the Shape and Shade Brow Tint, and I have the shade Fling. I think this is a great color. Now this has, my favorite part of this whole thing is this felt tip. It's a very fine felt tip pen, basically. And so you can do really light hair-like strokes with this. On the other end is my least favorite product. I've tried to make this work. It is a powder, and it has this spring-loaded kind of sponge tip thing. It just doesn't work. I've tried even putting a brush in there. I wish MAC would change this out and put a spoolie or put a pencil on the other end like Urban Decay did, but it's okay. I do love this other end. It does have a shaker ball, and this thing lasts a long time. Now you do need to have a little bit of a steady hand, but it's not quite as much pigment coming off from each stroke like you would get if you were doing liquid liner, but you still kind of have to be careful. And there you go. I do fill in kind of the arch more heavily, but here at the front is where I kind of try to make it look a little more like hair there where I don't have any hair. For mascara, it's been years since I've tried a full-size mascara from MAC. I've tried recently a few samples of the MAC mascara and I'm just not a fan. So I'm gonna go in with my favorites, and that is a combination of the Origins Underwear for Lashes, IT Cosmetics Superhero, and then the Thrive Cosmetics on the lower lashes. Okay, it's time to finish up with some lips. Now I'm gonna do the trick that you see me often do with the MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. So now you know it's really meant for the eyes, but I have found this to be helpful in keeping my lipstick and lip gloss from bleeding. So I just put a little bit of this around the edge of my lips. This also just kind of helps. I have uneven lip lines, so it kind of conceals that and allows me to draw in my own desired lip line with lip liner. All right, speaking of lip liners, I have 4 from MAC, and these are, you do get a lot of product for your money. They are a pencil that you sharpen, and they are overall creamy. They do set down pretty well. However, I don't feel like they are the longest wearing. So I think today I'm actually going to use Spice because I'm gonna go in with a deeper lip shade, but I don't want the overall look to be too intense. All right, now for lipstick. If you've watched any of my videos, you will probably have seen a MAC lipstick, and that is because in my lipstick collection, the majority of them are MAC lipsticks. I just love them. Now, if I were to swatch them all for you, we would be here until tomorrow. I'll leave my favorites listed in the description box below, but for today, I have chosen to do a combination of 2. So I'm gonna do Gel and O. So I'm going to start off with O. I'm going to try to keep it a little more daytime appropriate because I've got to go somewhere today. So there is O all by itself, and then I'm going to take Gel and just add a little bit of this in the center to kind of brighten it up and kind of make the lips look a little fuller. All right, here's our finished look. And my favorite parts of today's look are the products that are my favorites from MAC, and that would be the eyes and the lips and the cheeks. The foundation just is not my favorite. I need to try the Studio Fix Fluid. I'm sure I would love that. But the MAC Face and Body, it's great if you just like sheer coverage, but I just feel like with larger pores, it just doesn't quite sit right for me personally. It is a great mixing medium though. You can mix it in to kind of lighten up the texture of other kind of heavier foundations. So I'll continue to get use out of it. But now one final really important fact about MAC Cosmetics is they have one of the best recycle programs out there. So all of their packaging, lipsticks, blush compacts, eyeshadow compacts, any of those things that you use up or the product gets old and you're ready to throw it out, don't throw it away. For every 6 products that you bring back to either a MAC store or a MAC counter in a department store, you get an item free. Now, what you get free depends on where you take it. So if you go to a MAC department store MAC beauty counter, so like Macy's, Nordstrom's, anything like that, you're going to get in exchange for 6 products that you're recycling, you get to choose any lipstick color you want. If you take those 6 products to a MAC freestanding store, you get to choose either an eyeshadow or a lipstick of your choice. You can buy MAC from department stores, Ulta. You can also buy it online from MAC's website direct. They obviously have the greatest selection, but then you can also buy it online from Ulta or Macy's, Nordstrom's, that kind of thing. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.